Understanding the process of probate. Probate is a legal process whereby a court oversees the distribution of assets left by a deceased person's will. Assets are anything of value that a person owns, such as real and personal property and cash, for instance. Probate is often needed to clear title to land, stocks and bonds, or bank accounts that were held in the name of the deceased person, and to retitle these assets in the names of the beneficiaries. Pay off or collect debts owed to the deceased person, settle a dispute between people who claim they are entitled to assets of the deceased person, resolve any disputes about the validity of the deceased person's will. Another purpose of probate is to prove and deliver the will to the court. A deceased person's will can be proved by an affidavit made under oath by the witnesses to the will. If such an affidavit is unavailable, the personal presence of the witnesses will be required in court to testify that at the time the will was signed, the deceased person was of sound mind and knew what he or she was doing. Once the will is proven, a personal representative is selected. A personal representative is someone who handles the deceased person's affairs, also called an executor or executrix. A will generally names a personal representative who, if willing to serve and is otherwise qualified, will be approved by the court. If a person dies without a will, the court will select the personal representative, usually the spouse, an adult child, or other close relative. If none of those people are available or willing to act as personal representative, the court may choose a bank, trust company, or lawyer. Notice to creditors is also required to be published in a local newspaper. This public notice provides that creditors have a specified number of months to bring any claim against the estate for debts the deceased person owes them. The personal representative also gives written notice to all known and possible creditors. Following the notice to creditors, assets are identified and an inventory is prepared and subsequently filed with the court. The personal representative works to identify and value the deceased person's assets. Depending upon the type of assets and the kind of records left by this deceased person, this step can be quite straightforward or more difficult and time-consuming. Once granted permission by the court, the personal representative ensures that all creditors are paid. Creditors must be paid from the estate before the remaining estate assets can be distributed to the beneficiaries. As part of the final phase, the personal representative prepares state and/or federal tax returns, and any inheritance, gift, and estate tax returns, and pays any taxes due. Finally, the personal representative prepares and submits a proposed and itemized final accounting to the people named in the will, the heirs of the deceased person, and the court. This final accounting record shows all money collected and paid out from the estate. It may also contain a narrative explaining the important actions taken in connection with the probate of the estate. After court approval of the final accounting record and payment of all unpaid probate expenses, the deceased person's assets are then distributed to the people and/or entities, such as charities or trusts, named in the will.